Swipe right now, I'm watching what you did. If I were down now, I'm at a disadvantage. But I think that it's worth it. I put my headphones on, I play my favorite song. I go to sleep and try again. Mama used to try and tell me no man is an island, but I think I feel like drifting away. Mama used to say tomorrow never comes, so make the most, but I think I am done with today. Think I am done with today. Boss says, man, you gotta make an effort. Feel like all I do on earth is just say yes, sir. And when I tell people how they make me feel, they treat me like a leper. I put my headphones on, I play my favorite song. I go to sleep and try again. Mama used to try and tell me no man is an island, but I think I feel like drifting away. Mama used to say tomorrow never comes, so make the most, but I think I am done with today. Think I am done with today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out to the stream today. I just want to let you guys know that we are going to be doing a live coaching session with one of our viewers. His name is Panda Swag, and currently the questions that he has been having is that he seems that he is hard stuck, and he does play the agent Sage as well as I think it was Jet, and a lot of the things is positioning as well as utility usage, and he just wants to know how to overall get better and see what he's doing wrong. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the Discord call with him and see what he's doing. Hello? Panda, you there? Panda, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. We're all ready for you when you are.
I mean, I'm ready.
All right. Do you know what agent you're going to be playing today?
I'm playing Sage.
Sage? All right.
Yeah.
And did you want to do unrated or competitive for when I coach you?
I'm ready.
Okay, sounds good. And what do you think that you struggle with the most, or that you need to improve on?
Maybe like the walls, or like healing somebody, or yeah.
So so pretty much what you're looking for is knowing when to wall and the healing times.
Yeah.
Okay. And what gun do you prefer to use? Do you prefer to use the Vandal or the Phantom?
Vandal. My friend said the Phantom is kind of slow now.
I mean, it's personal preference. I personally always use the Vandal, unless I'm like trying to spray through the smokes more. But I feel like the Vandal is a lot better of a gun. But it's really personal preference.
I like Vandal.
Yep. All right, you can go on ahead and queue, and then we'll get right into it. So it seems that he is a Sage player, and that he is trying to focus a little bit more on utility timing and the positioning as well as the communication aspect. So now that we're going right into this, he is playing on the map Pearl, which is a good talking point because this is a great map for him to learn as a Sage. All right, chat. And if you guys have any questions or you are wanting to join the live coaching, if you just go right on ahead and join the Discord link down below, you can go in there and there's a coaching sign up that you can go and you just tell me what day that you would prefer to get coached as well as the time. I do coach at Eastern Standard Time, and I would like to know in a couple days in advance just so I can get a feeling, get a script prepared for you guys on what I think you need to work on, as well as any advice I can give you. So right now, it looks like he has a pretty good team comp, and he is playing Sage. They're running the double Sentinel. And for a Sage...
Oh, yeah.
All right. I think as a Sage, you should be playing on A here for the new map. I feel like it's a little bit of a smaller choke point for you. So you're going to want to go on the left side. And what I noticed as well is the first thing I could tell right off the bat is the mini map. Your mini map is at the top left. It's not showing the whole map, so you're cutting your information off immediately.
Oh.
All right, so they spotted 4 mid. Let's see how he handles this. He is going to take the fight. Okay. All right.
Oh, they have shotguns?
Not bad. Go to your settings real quick.
Okay.
Go to general.
Okay.
And then do you see where it says map? The third one down.
Hold up.
Yep.
Mini map sites?
Yeah. You can keep that the same. Do you see where it says key player centered?
Yeah.
Turn that one off.
Yeah.
And then when you turn it off, when you spawn in, you should be able to see the whole mini map, no matter what.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
All right. So yeah, now you're gonna want to play on the left side of the map this round.
So A. Right?
Yeah, A. And I recommend, since you did lose the pistol round, you typically don't want to buy a gun here. You just want to save. I know your teammates are buying, but you want to be able to buy a rifle on the 3rd round.
Basically, so yeah.
You didn't buy any utility, so we can dock that. We can dock off some points right there. He does get a kill, which is nice. Let's see how he reacts off of this. So he does get a free vandal. He saw one person. I would back up there. Okay. Let's see him. Keep backing. Keep backing. I would back up here since you have the rifle. Now play with your killjoy right here. Take a So what he should be doing right here, chat, is that he should be taking a different angle rather than sitting in the same exact spot as the skilljoy.
Oh, so I see how they play now. If you try to, you want to get a rifle in a 3rd round.
Yeah. So now that you got a rifle, you can buy your full shield, but make sure you buy all your utility. Yeah, make sure you buy all of those. Those are very important. Typically, for me personally, I'll always buy my utility over buying a full shield. I know that's a little bit strange because you always want to have a full rifle and a shield, but I feel like the utility is just so like a lot more important in this game. All right, so since we saw it on the minimap, the Fade spotted 3 on the B site. What we can do here is one, we could take space with the Sova and try to get a flank, or 2, we can wall off the A choke, and then we can rotate over to B. Yeah, and you can get that orb and then you can rotate. So what you just did there is you're forcing the other team to, if they want to rotate, they either have to break that wall or push through mid. And if they try to break that wall, they're gonna make so much noise that you guys are able to react off of that and get the early rotate. So before we take, oh, nice. I was gonna say before we took that fight, if you looked at the top, the Killjoy had took some damage and she was half health, and you still had your heal online, so you could have thrown that to her before you went to go take the fight.
Okay.
Yeah, and then another good tip for you as well in that situation, since it's a 3v1 situation for the raise, if you guys just play as a pair or just play as a team altogether, it's harder for the raise to get more than one kill because there's of course more than one gun shooting at her.
Should I play? Should I do that thing again? Like, oh yeah, I don't have my walls.
Yeah. So for here, I would. So we have 3 people watching the same spot. I would rotate to your right. Yeah, like there's a little midsection that you could have went and holding connector, because if they're pushing a B site, there's a high probability chance they'll do it. They would be doing a mid B split, and somebody would be rotating through mid. So that's just something to look out for. And if you did look at your minimap just now, the Fade and the Killjoy spotted 2 on B long. So you're able to run all the way here. You can take out your knife and start running towards your teammate. And yeah. Okay.
Cause sometimes I take out my knife and then I just automatically get shot.
No, I 100% agree with you. Like, taking out your knife is not the best thing in the world, but you had all the information right there. If you just took a second to pay attention to the minimap, since you have the whole minimap, like since you can see the whole thing now, it is important for you to keep in mind that you're able to see if your teammate spots someone, and if they spot someone, you'll either see the enemy's body on the minimap, or you'll see a question mark pop up, and that's where they were last seen. So that's just something that you can keep track of here. Let's see how he plays this here. All right, we got the spike. I would back up a little bit, or you can wall up. So good wall, but bad wall placement. The wall should have went behind the bomb, so they would have to break the wall to pick up the bomb.
Oh, dang, I got hooked.
Yeah, and the Omen TP'd right behind you. He used his ultimate.
Okay, so if I ever kill somebody with a bomb, I'm gonna need the wall right in front of it.
Yeah, right. The same way you had it, but a little bit further back behind it. So the reason why you do that is, hold on, before you don't want to wall immediately, mainly because if you try to wall right away, there might be another one of their teammates right there. But since you had time right there, you're able to focus on where you're gonna place it. The more comfortable you get on the agent, the faster you're able to do all the abilities. And Sage is one of those that is very quick once you learn the wall. Like, you can just throw it immediately. And what I would say right here, I want to see you do that same A push. But before you do it, I want you to take out your slow orb and throw it towards where they're walking. So, I can't I can't ping it on your map, but do you see like past the orb on the right side where those letters are? You want to throw the slow orb.
Like right here.
You have orbs, which is your Q.
Oh, okay. So orbs. Wait, what do you mean?
So you can wall this and then you can go rotate. All right, now rotate over to the other side of the map. But what I was talking about is your letter Q is your slow orb ability, and if you throw that, you can hear the enemy's footsteps as well as if they're trying to run through it, it will make a loud crackling sound, but it also slows them down. Let's see how he handles this situation.
Oh, dude.
So we got op there. So so we got operator shot there. You had the right idea. I just don't think the timing was on your side. I believe if you waited for the Sova, because he had a recon dart in his hand, you would have been in a better.
I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So far, he's made a couple mistakes. The thing that I could say that Panda is struggling with right now is his keybinds for his utility. His utility usage is great, but it could use some work, especially consistency on knowing when to throw the wall, as well as knowing when to properly heal, as well as throw slow orbs. So I'm gonna give him a couple drills that can help him. And for the positioning, right now, what he in his elo, he's able to push up further than a normal player would, just because they don't tend to play as aggressive. So he has to go out there. But as a Sage player, you kind of want to sit back a little bit further. You don't want to be going too far out and putting your team at a risk. Your main point as a Sage is to stay alive and help the team out with the heals, with the wall, and the slower. What Panda here is doing is great, but he's playing a little bit too aggressive on the Sage, especially on defense, where she is probably one of the best characters to play defense with. And Panda is currently AFK right now, but I could definitely see his overall rotations. His rotations can use a little bit fixing, and his overall positioning needs to be improved. Let's see what else I have here on my notes for him.
Hello?
So, hey man, what's up?
Yeah, I'm back.
You went AFK.
Yeah. My mom called me.
You're good. And when you play competitive, are you ever playing with another teammate, or are you usually just solo queuing?
To be honest, I never play competitive. I've been trying to get to level 20.
Okay, so you're just a brand new player learning how to play.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So there's a couple things that I want to work on with you, and we can check out the stats later once this game is over, so I can fully explain what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing that you need to focus on is knowing when to use the utility and your overall positioning, especially as a Sage. I feel like you're playing a little bit too aggressive with the Sage, which is not a bad thing at all. But I think the biggest thing that will hold you back in the later ranks is definitely going to be playing too aggressive on the Sage and not on another agent. The only reason why I say that is because the wall is super important with the heal. The slow orbs are great to stop fast pushes. So if you die first, you're going to cause your team to have a little bit of a disadvantage immediately.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so okay. So we're gonna hopefully we can see his gameplay next round and see exactly what he's doing wrong. I feel like there's some things that he can help out with. Oh, he's back. Are you back? So one thing I could say right now is that as a player, he is oftentimes going AFK, and if you were to do that in a real rank game, you can definitely face the hard penalties, and that's not a good thing. So we need to make sure that this is not happening all the time. Not sure where Panda went. Let's see. So while Panda's AFK, you can see his two teammates, Neon and the Fade, are pushing through mid, clearing the right side and making their way towards Art. The Killjoy did not set up any utility here, and Sova dies because of that. If she would have had a turret up, it would have helped stop the Fade from pushing. Hello? You're good.
This is why I can't do live streams.
Yeah. I would say you have to be careful when you go AFK and stuff, just because you don't want to accidentally get banned for leaving the game. Because I've had friends that went AFK for many matches in a row, and then they get banned for like 2 days. So that's just one thing that you have to be careful with, and it's not a bad thing at all. If you are, especially since you're playing Sage and you're trying to work on your utility usage, I would definitely start playing Spike Rush so you can focus on your abilities and you don't have to buy them. So right here.
So when should I use my ultimate ability or something?
So for the ultimate, you can only use it when your teammate dies. So it looks like your Fade died up in mid. I wouldn't go for that one, but your Sova did die on the B site. Depending where your Neon and Killjoy die. Actually, you can go revive the one in mid. Go left.
One of them.
So that wasn't bad. So the best time that you want to use your Sage ultimate is if you have the free, there's like no enemies around you and you're able to revive your teammate, and two, I said before not to go get the resurrection in mid, but that resurrection in mid would have been the better play there, just because it looked like nobody was camping the body. But typically, the enemy team will either push through mid or hold the body, which is a bad thing, because then you'll just die for free rather than playing on site with your team. Right there, it was good. The aim was a little bit shaky on the raise, but it wasn't bad. If you hold tab, I just want to see how much you hit her for. All right. I think Panda might have went AFK here. His connection seemed pretty bad. Did your internet go out? I think his internet went out. Oh, his computer turned off. Oh. All right, so it looks like Panda's computer turned off. I think it may be a hardware issue. So when he gets back, we're not gonna. It's okay. All right. Well, since you're listening to me, Panda, I can just tell you a quick rundown on the notes that I was taking. First off, if you want to improve as Sage, I think the best advice for you as a player is you want to focus on staying alive a lot more, and on defense, you don't want to push out too far. Obviously, in this game, it wasn't that hard because there wasn't as much pressure for you to get punished. But in the later games, you're going to get punished a lot harder because the enemy team will push you. And if you're too far up, you won't have time to use your utility. So another good thing I could say is if you feel like the enemy team is pushing you hard, you're going to want to use the wall immediately. And the reason why you use the wall immediately at the choke point. So let's pull up I am going to pull up Valo strat. Valorant strat maker. Valo plan. All right. So as a Sage, we're going to, where's the map pearl? All right. So right here, we're going to go on the defense side, and I'm going to explain exactly what's going through my mind when you are going to be playing Sage. So as a Sage on defense, you either have option A to go to A or option B to go to B. But I feel like if you're going to be playing Sage on defense, the best thing that you need to do or learn is that you don't want to push up way too far. If you're pushing up way too far, you're going to get punished. And we can just look at where Sage would be played on B. And I don't think she's in the lower elo. This is where you want to be on the map Pearl with her, just because you're not going to get much value out of the wall, or you're not going to get much value out of the slow. So if we just take a look at the wall, this is what it looks like. If you were going to wall on B, it doesn't cover enough of the left side or the right side of this pillar. That's bad already, just at the start. And even if you try to wall right here, the enemy team has enough room to push through without having to break the wall. That's a bad thing. So I don't think Sage plays well over here. If you are gonna play A, this is the ideal setup that you would want to do. You're going to want to come over here towards the A site at the start of the round. And usually you can hear the footsteps from standing right here if they're pushing A restaurant and A main. When you push this right off the bat, all you have to do is go and put the wall. How do you turn it? You just put the wall right. How do I get this to line up? Okay. So right off the rip, if you start hearing a lot of pressure already in A main and A restaurant, you're going to run towards the back of, or towards the front of A site, and you're going to wall safely right here. What this does is it allows your team to rotate because they have to break the wall. And two, it allows you to get prepared for a gunfight. But when you also do that, let's say they break the wall, The minute they break the wall, you're going to want to be right over here on the staircase towards connector. When you're on the staircase of connector, you have two angles to worry about. The first angle is the people pushing out of A main, but first off, you have the slow orb right here stopping any push. So if they still want to push through the wall while it's broken and you have the slow orb, this is an easy swing out, kill, and get back for free. And two, you can have that, and let's say you had a Killjoy or a Cypher over here. Let's say your Killjoy is playing right on site, and she would have the turret playing back and just swinging off contact. Okay, that's cool. But since you're playing Sage, I would throw this wall immediately, help out whoever's on site with the slow orb, but your main focus is to keep control of all of this. This is your job right here. Your job is to keep control of if they get out onto site, and your second job is to make sure that you're watching art. Art is very pivotal for the A push on attack. The reason for that is because if they do an A split, they can send 2 to 3 players over here and 2 players through art and overwhelm anyone that's playing on site, allowing for a free site take as well as going through the spawn. So your main job as a Sage is to make sure that you're utilizing all your utility effectively, because these slow orbs do so much for you that you can't even think of. Of course. All right. So we're going to throw the slow orb here, and this is how your A defense hold will look like. And if you don't want to put the wall there, that's completely fine. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good, Panda. And for the Sage wall, if you don't want to play A main, you can either wall off art from right here. Actually, this is the better wall if you're going to play in mid. The reason for this as to why it's a better wall is because they're able to jump onto the generator and jump over this area right here if you did wall it. So that won't be a good wall. But if you were to wall this mid doorway, it's impossible for them to get through because there's a roof to the door that they're unable to cross. And the only way that they can cross is if you put the wall up, which is a good way. If you are learning how to play a Sentinel, or you want to learn a better Sentinel for this map, the second best one, or the first best one in my opinion, would be Cypher. Cypher on this map is ridiculous. Cypher can do it all. He can take control of the whole map on defense just by doing a tripwire here and putting a tripwire right here at the start of the round. He takes so much space before the round starts just by doing that. And for the camera, as a Cypher player, you're able to hold it on you and do whatever you want with it. But personally, I think the best camera would be on A, so you could play over towards mid connector and B link connector. What this does is you have all this map control and you have a player on A site while you're playing on B, and you're able to see everything that's going on, hear audio cues that are going on, and overall dominate the map. And the best thing is, since we never use any cyber cages, let's say we get any pressure, we can always throw down our cage, which acts like a smoke and allows us to push through and create space for us, or allow us to escape safely without being seen. And Cypher is one of the best agents on this map. Now, if we're looking towards another Sentinel, if you don't have Cypher or you don't like playing Cypher, another good one to play is Killjoy. Killjoy, she's great. She's always been great. But the thing that you can do is that you can have your turret watching all of A main, and let me see if I can get this out. You can have the alarm bot playing inside art while you play in here. And if you just throw a grenade on top of A main, as well as a grenade right on top of the default plant spot, this will be super beneficial, not for only you, but for your team, because you have all of art control, you have all of A main control, and the only thing that you would really need to focus for is just playing in this little connector spawn for A link, and just watching out to make sure that you're not getting flanked from the mid door section. So another agent, if you did want to learn, is Killjoy. She will be great for you. So Killjoy and Cypher are one of the easier agents to learn. Sorry about that, chat. Killjoy and Cypher are one of the easier agents to learn just because you're able to play so passive, but learn how the enemies play, and you kind of get a feeling of how to counteract with them. So, another good map that you would most likely often play would be Ascent. Ascent on defense, for Sentinels especially, is the greatest thing in the world because you're able to play super passive and provide so much impact for your team. But the biggest thing is that I see that a lot of players do is that they're not using their utility enough, or they're not understanding what's going on in the mid round, which can cause them to lose a lot of games. So you've seen this Killjoy setup many times on Ascent, but a good way to counter, or a good setup that you could do, is right on top of these boxes out of defender spawn that looks towards B main, and the alarm bot that I love to use, and that I tell my teammates to use because it provides so much information, is the one right here in mid. There's a little vent right next to pizza that you can put the alarm bot right on top of, that pretty much guarantees you pizza and mid bottom control, because the enemy team cannot avoid it without either destroying it, or two, making sure that you're dead to be able to lurk up. And the best thing about this is, let's say you're playing on B site and the whole enemy team has just attacked onto a, let's say the whole enemy team just planted A, and you do still need to rotate. That's perfectly fine. You take the alarm bot back, or you take the turret back, and you just rotate. When you rotate here, the alarm bot is still active because of the range, and you can pretty much just hug this whole entire wall over here and still play inside tree with this alarm bot. Oh wait, what just happened? Okay, with this alarm bot still active. The alarm bot will still stay active as long as you're hugging this area. Can I draw on here? How do I draw? Oh, as long as you're hugging this whole area right here, you're able to keep the alarm bot active. Right there is the whole radius as to where you want to play with Killjoy. Cool. Right there's the whole radius that you want to play on Killjoy, and you're able to provide so much information and utility for your team. And let's say you have your ultimate, the lockdown online, you just come run over here and you throw it right on. There's a little crate that you could throw it on top of, and when you throw it on top of this crate, it guarantees you A site. The only spot that you would have to worry about for the enemy team is when you come out of here, you need to make sure that somebody is throwing utility towards wine, or you have your Amali lineup, Nanoswarm lineup that lands over here. I currently don't have the lineup for myself. I have not created it, but there's tons of them on the internet, and I can definitely find one. I know it's over here in the tree, and you have to look at a certain leaf, and when you toss it, it will land over here. And I believe if you toss it at the 4-second mark and you explode it, they either have to A, eat the molly, or B, take the lockdown ultimate and get disabled. So Killjoy is very good on this map. And let's move on to another map that I love. Icebox. Icebox can be tricky for some. And the biggest thing that I see Sage players do so often is... Can I grab... Okay. The biggest thing I see Sage players on defense on Icebox do is that they wall off tube immediately and early with no information. This is not a bad wall, but it's also not a good wall. The reason why it's not a good wall is because you're walling the tube immediately with no information of somebody in mid, and you're wasting the wall on the retake, and you're not providing any actual value. You're just wasting 400 credits at the start of the round, which is not good. And the reason why that's not good is because let's say they just 5 rushed A and they had gotten the bomb down and nobody went mid. You just wasted 400 credits right there for putting a default wall that was not needed. For the wall that you're going to want to put, or you want to put the wall if you obviously you hear someone, so you're going to play in kitchen. But if nobody goes towards mid at all, if you still have the wall and the bomb's planted anywhere on the A site, especially on default, this is what you do. You just wall off where they have to come from, and you can get the defuse, forcing the enemy team to either have to take the rope or push the right side of 410, allowing your team to hold for you, hold the pressure for you, or they have to break the wall. This is perfect because it applies pressure as well as being able to get the bomb to either half or full defuse for essentially 400 credits rather than having to waste your body on hopefully winning a 50-50 gunfight. So that's a pro tip that you could use with the Sage. You don't want to use the wall immediately because you're going to cause more damage than good, just because in the lower elos, they tend to 5 rush the site. And if you are playing a little bit smarter, you would have another teammate play in mid with you. So typically the 2 initiators that you would see, you would either see a Sova or a KO, and the Sova and the KO would either dart or use their knife right over here, allowing you to get information, knowing when to throw the knife or knowing when to wall, allowing you guys to get more control of the map and being able to play as a team overall. So that's one wall that you can do. And another good wall, if they do plan on the B site, let's move this over here. Let's say they plan default and these are your 2 teammates that are left with you. They don't have any smokes or anything to help cover you. And that is a big thing that I see that hurts so many players, is that not having any smokes, and it's just 2 initiators and just Sage alive. And this Sage already used the wall. The Sage is rendered useless because she has no other utility other than a heal and a slow orb, which won't be good on the retake for defuse. So if you save the wall in mid and you never used it, a good wall to do for a quick defuse retake would be throwing it diagonal like this. When you throw a diagonal like this, you're able to get on the bomb and they have to break not 1 but 2 layers of hold on, can I turn this? Let's do this. They'd have to break not 1 but 2 layers of the wall to make sure that they're getting the full body of you while your teammates are pushing either right or left, giving you cover fire. and you can either get the bomb half or you can even get a full stick because of that wall that you just saved. Sage is important, especially on Icebox. I feel like if you're not playing Sage on Icebox, you're kind of wasting a lot of free rounds because of the wall and how useful she is on this map. Now moving on to the attack side. The thing that you're going to want to do if you're planning on B site, you do need the Sage. It's kind of impossible to get onto B without the Sage. So for the wall that you're going to want to do, you've seen this typical wall, but you want a wall. If you don't have a Viper, you wall sideways like this, covering you from Snowman, as well as covering you from anyone that's playing on site. But if you have a Viper smoke that is active, covering, let's say you had the Viper smoke active and it's covering all of this, you don't need to worry about Snowman as much. They can still spam you through the smoke, but the Sage wall can be placed this way instead, providing a lot more cover, as well as being able to plant on the edge of the bomb site with the wall still active. Now for the A site as a Sage player, let me delete this Viper stuff. Now moving over to the A site with the Sage, you're gonna want to get onto site. Obviously, you do that whichever way your team allows you to get on site, while still keeping the wall active. And the wall that you're gonna want to throw is the one towards back site underneath the rope, allowing you to get full control of back site and only having to worry about top rafter and behind screen moving into site. So you either plant the bomb default, or if you get the bomb planted up here, this is another good wall that you can learn how to use. You get the bomb down right there. And once you get the bomb down there, you're able to throw the Sage wall behind it, allowing you guys to stop anyone that's playing on top of the rope to get to the bomb easier. They either have to jump on top of these little boxes, or they have to break the wall while they're on the rope, when your teammates are all going to be over here looking in this direction no matter what. So that's another quick guide on how to play Sage on Icebox effectively. This is going back to my first point of the stream. Sage is so important for getting the bomb down and for retakes, as long as she never used that wall, mainly because she has so much value out of that wall that she can get. If the Sage dies early before she puts down the wall, it's pretty much a waste of an agent, or you're not playing the agent to the best of its ability, because you're throwing so much value right out the door. The wall provides cover, and it allows your team to get on the site pretty easily. So moving on to the next map, Bind. Bind, Sage seems to thrive here. I've seen many great Sage players coming live onto the map Bind. Moving towards the attack side first, I believe the only thing that as a Sage player that you would need to learn, Panda, is to if you're going to be attacking A site, your teammates will obviously do whatever they need to do to get you on the site with the smokes. So let's say you had a Brimstone, he would smoke here and here to allow you guys to take all pressure of U-Haul, as well as getting pressure on the site. And the essential bomb plant onto A default is right here, right in front of truck. And the best thing to do is when you're going towards site and your teammates are taking care of U-Haul, the wall that you need to do, and you've seen this before if you played, you're just going to want to put the wall, imagine, let me move these smokes are in my way. So you're going to want to just put the wall touching the edge of the truck and touching this wall right here. What this does is it allows you to have time to be able to plant the bomb safely without any issues. The only players that would be able to break it is anyone that's playing on top of bench shooting across, or anyone playing heaven having to shoot down. But this gives you cover to either plant on the edge of the bomb site or plant close to truck, giving you guys essentially a free plant and some space that you may have not had if you just only decided to go with the brim smokes here. And the brim smokes are not bad at all, don't get me wrong, but when you have the sage, you need to utilize the wall to the best of its ability and being able to get the bomb down as fast as possible before the wall becomes inactive. So you can either do that wall if you're pushing on to truck default, but let's say you don't want to, you guys are getting destroyed playing A short and you want to go through A showers. A good strat that you guys can do is we're going to pretend that we already have the bomb over here, just so I don't have to move it. But the sage would be pushing showers, and the initiators that you typically tend to see on this map is you'd either see a Sky or a Sova. So either the Sky or the Sova will either use the owl drone or the dog through showers to help you guys get control of the showers. And when you guys get final control of it, this is when you start to push up here and you start to get your wall ready. The wall will be placed right here. You're going to want to plant the bomb at the very edge of this corner. You see how it's still dark green right here? This allows you to get the spike right there as long as you're looking away from the wall. If you look towards the wall, you're going to break the wall. That's not good. You're going to want to look away from the wall towards showers and have each corner of the wall touching right here, providing cover from anyone that's trying to sneak in. So that's another good wall that you can use on the A site. Now moving on to the B site for Sage on attacking. I feel like Sage is best used if she is pushing B long here. Just because you're going to want to be able to place down the wall as quickly as possible. So when you push down B long, you're going to have your teammates do whatever they need to do to get you on the site. But the wall will be placed right over here into elbow. What this wall allows you guys to do, man, hold on. How do I get it straight? There we go. So you're going to have the wall placed in the elbow while you guys plant default right here, allowing you guys to only really have to focus on anyone that's pushing through defender spawn. And it pretty much gives you full site control. But if you don't want to use the wall into elbow, that is perfectly fine. Another good wall that you guys can use if you already have a smoke active from the brimstone here is if you move this wall right here. What this wall does is that it covers the entrance of B site, but this wall also covers the entrance of defender spawn for any defenders that are rotating from A site, making them having to make them shoot through the wall right here, causing so many issues for them to retake because the wall lasts for 40 seconds or 45 seconds and the bomb lasts for 40 or 45 seconds, so they do need to break that. And two, you'll have teammates here that are able to listen to those audio cues, and if you and another teammate, if let's say you have 5 alive still, you and someone else will push into elbow right over. Let's do the KO. Let's say you and KO were still alive. You guys would be pushing into elbow, causing pressure, while the rest of your team is on site dealing with the other players. Let's do that. So you would typically have. This is what your ideal setup would look like. You would be with the jet to make sure that you're able to provide as much utility as possible. But since this wall is right here denying information or denying retake space, you're forcing the enemy team to either break it and push on the site with odds against them, or you're forcing them to break the wall back here, having to make them push through elbow while you and another teammate are holding back here, and just causing overall pressure that is extremely hard to deal with, especially when there is five people still alive on your team. So that's another sage wall that you can use on the attack. And now we're moving on to the defensive side, and we're going to clear out everything real quick. So now that we cleared everything, we're going to move over to playing A with Sage on a defensive half. And the biggest mistake that I see from a lot of my clients are not knowing what to do with their wall, or walling too late, allowing the other team to destroy it immediately. So for the Sage on the A side, you're going to want to be playing either showers or into A short. And what the wall would look like is you're either going to wall at the start of the round right here. And what this does, it covers any space that will be taken in A short. And if they wanted to get into A cubby, they have to break the wall. And if they want to get on top of these boxes, they still have to break the wall, causing a lot of noise for you guys to play off of and know how to deal with it. And just for an example, if you're unable to get that wall down successfully, another wall that you can do to bait out anybody that's playing on top of these boxes. Let's say they had a neon and the neon keeps jumping over with no issue. You can put this wall up, allowing you to take the advantage in the 1v1 fight from the neon, because she's going to have 0% shot accuracy when jumping off of here, allowing you to hold a tight angle and get a free pick because she's trying to play super aggressive and get in your face. So that's another good wall that you can use. But the best place to play Sage on bind is right here. This is Sage's playground. Hookah. Hookah is Sage's best position to play on this map. Reason why it's so good is at the start of the round, this wall will get you so much impact no matter what. Nobody can tell me otherwise. This wall gets impact. When you put this wall right here in the hookah, especially when you put a diagonal like this, it forces the enemy team to break it. And since they're unable to see the full wall at the start of the round, they can only break this part, still having to make them break these next two pieces and getting into hookah. By the time they do that, they're going to waste 2 to 3 clips of ammunition into getting into hookah to take that space. So with the Sage right here, if they start breaking the wall, you just throw a slow orb to stop even more momentum from them, allowing your team to rotate from A or B, take more space from A into their spawn, causing more pressure right off the rip. Now, if you want to change up the wall, or you feel like that wall is not working well for you, another wall that you can do is right outside the window, is wall the little window area right here. And this will wall 3 sections. It will wall the wall bang spot, it will wall where they come out of window, and it will wall the right side, allowing full protection and making you guys only able to focus right here on bind. Only B long and B garden. Now, for Sage playing on bind, I think the best place is right here every round, no matter what, is putting down the Sage wall, because typically raises as well, they have a lineup that goes right into hookah with no issue, allowing them to grab information whenever they need. And this boombot lineup looks exactly like this. There's a little teapot kettle that they aim at the corner of, and it bounces off here, goes right into hookah, bounces off and clears all of this. But when you put down the wall, this messes up the whole path, and it starts to go back into A short or B short and denying full information from the enemy team. So now we're going to move on to Haven. Do I believe Sage belongs on Haven? Yes and no. reason why I say no is because there's a lot better sentinels that you can play, such as Killjoy, Cypher, or Chamber 100% of the time. But if you're focused on playing Sage on Haven, it is doable, it is possible. And the way that you would do that on defense is that you either wall off B or you wall off Garage. You do not use your wall for anything else because you're denying space. Now that we denied space there, for attack, it's going to be the same way that you were playing on Icebox. You're going to use the wall to your advantage to be able to get the bomb down as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. And what map are we missing? For Breeze, you'd never want to play Sage on Breeze. She won't get any impact. Her wall does not cover enough. And again, you want to play either Cypher or Chamber here. But if you're focused on playing Sage here, you're just going to wall off A main with your slow orbs, because this will stop the fast push from any Viper utility that's going down and allowing you to rotate off of that. Now let's say you want to play on B site. Of course, you can still do the same different wall over here with the slow orbs, but you're not getting as much impact for the team as you may think you are as a Sage on Breeze. This map is so big, and taking map control with Cypher or Chamber is so important because the Cypher has 2 trips, a camera, and an ultimate that's able to tell them where everyone is on the map, allowing you guys to take that information and rotate safely. Now for the Chamber, Chamber has 1 trip, but he has the teleports to be able to move around the map a lot quicker, which is great. Moving over to Fracture. Fracture is one of Sage's best maps for attack. Your whole goal as a Sage is to, if you're pushing through A main, you're going to want to wall across this way, denying space for the enemy team to help to take site. But if you guys do push through sand like this, all you have to do is put the wall right here, covering off defender spawn, allowing them to only come out of tower, giving you guys a pretty good advantage on what you guys need to do effectively. But the 2 walls that you're going to be doing and the 2 spaces that you will be taking is going through A main and making sure that you wall off either the cross, or if you wall off the spawn point area, only having to focus the tower. Now for the B site, staging can be a little bit difficult here, especially if you're not putting down the wall quick or fast enough, because when you're coming out of B main, you're already having to focus on the players that are playing back behind these 2 boxes, or anyone playing heaven. But this wall will come across over here, and this wall can be a little bit tricky at times because sometimes the enemy that's playing in defender connector or defender spawn in the connector area, they can see your head if you're not crouching or if you're not low enough. So this can be a little bit scary. It's not a bad wall, but it is a good wall to get on site. A better wall that I like to see from Sage players is if they're attacking and they want to hit the B site, is to come from arcade side. And when you guys take control of arcade, your Sage will come over here through arcade, going towards generator, walling off the generator spot, allowing you guys to only have to focus on the canteen area, which is very important to take control of. These 2 points are the hot points on B site. As long as you guys get the tower player, B site will be free every single time. Now for the defensive side of Fracture, you're going to want to play Sage towards the A site. Reason why I say towards the A site is because Sage's wall and slow is super effective, especially if you have a brimstone. Typically my team, when we run, we like to put the brimstone here, the brimstone smoke in the back of A hall with the molly on top, and the Sage will be playing with them back here, allowing him, or the brimstone and the Sage will be throwing the smoke, the molly, and the slow right on top, causing full control of A main. If you do not take control of A main on Fracture, you will lose the A site 99.9% of the time. And you can quote me on that. You need to take control of A main if you want to win on Fracture. Fracture is a map that is heavily defined on its main choke points. So another good play that you can do is if you have these 3 agents, a Sage, a Breach, and a Brimstone. The Breach would stun. He would fault line from tower. How do I turn this? He would fault line from tower. All of this. And when he fault lines all of... Why is this popping up? Okay. So when the Breach fault lines from tower, the Brimstone smoke will go down and the Brimstone molly will come on top of it with the Sage slow. If there's anyone stuck here, they will die to the Brimstone molly. And since we only use the slow, we could take full control and we can just wall up. We can run up and wall up for free without having to worry about anybody pushing through the smoke, because they'll be taking damage, and that wall will go right there, allowing full control of A main. Now moving over to the B site, if you are going to play Sage here, you've seen this wall many times. You just come over to the back of, or you just come over to Canteen and you wall up instantly right over here. It's pretty safe. I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with it, but I wouldn't say this is the best place to play Sage, especially if you have these 3 agents on the map. Now, obviously Split is not on here anymore, so we're not going to focus on that. But let's go back to the Discord server. All right, so I appreciate for everybody coming over to the stream today, seeing the coaching session. It didn't go exactly as planned. I guess my client's internet went out, and then he had to go do some chores, so I can't be too upset about that. But I do appreciate everybody coming out today, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their evening. I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you.